Good morning. Today I'm joined by Major Ramsey. She is the Chief of the Medical Staff at the 82nd Med Group here at Sheppard Air Force Base. And with medical care and health care being a prime focus of the Five and Thrive initiative, she's going to share some great information with us today. So thank you, Major Ramsey, for being here. We greatly appreciate your time today.
Yeah, so happy to be here. It's our pleasure to get to take care of the families here.
Great. My first question, could you share with our audience just an overview of what the 82nd Medical Group services are, what y'all have to offer to our community?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are an outpatient medical clinic, so we don't offer urgent care emergency services, but during business hours we do have some clinics and 24-hour appointments. So what you have to do is call your appointment line. We'll get to that in a minute. But otherwise, we are made up of two different squadrons that house our multiple different things that people can use. So in our operational and medical readiness squadron is primarily our active duty focused clinics. So we have our Warrior Operations Medical Clinic, or what also used to be known as Military Health. We have FOMC, which is our Flight Operations Medical Clinic. A lot of OMCs out there. Yeah. Used to be aerospace. We also have dental, mental health, bio, and public health. Our other probably one more informative to this, our other squadron, is made up of women's health, pediatrics, beneficiary care, TRICARE operations and patient administration, systems, lab, pharmacy, radiology, logistics, and immunization. So they do all of the supportive services that we provide to the base. Our hours are from 7:30 to 4:30 every day. We're closed for holidays and for training days, which are usually the third Wednesday of the month, but as we've gotten a little bit more adventurous in our training, including some very cool things, like offloading, unloading patients on visiting C-17s and things like that we need to be able to do our stuff, sometimes those move around. So we really encourage people to look at our Facebook and our Instagram to get really frequent updates for even little things like system outages or our phone line misbehaving, we'll call it that. So those are frequently updated though, and so we do ask people to check those out.
Wonderful. Technology's great. It is. But it has its moments.
It absolutely does, especially as we become more reliant on it.
Yes,
to function.
Most definitely. So tell us, how do family members, active duty personnel, how do they go about scheduling appointments for care, and what if they need maybe an alternative care route? Maybe you don't have a particular physician available here on base, or if it's an after hours emergency.
Okay, so talking about making appointments, luckily there's a lot of different ways to go about that these days, or at least a couple. So we'll start with the appointment line. Our wonderful ladies in the appointment line. I say ladies because right now it's only women that work there, but they are super kind and ready to help you out. They can be reached at 676-2273 or CARE, C-A-R-E. Or you can use the patient portal. We do on the MHS Genesis patient portal online. We do ask that if you're going to make an appointment, you start with the visit type. It'll narrow you down to the clinic you're going to and the type of appointment, and then that'll give you every physician that's available within that clinic. You can always choose your PCM from that list if that's who you want to be with, but it'll open you up to a few more clinics, whereas if you start with your PCM, sometimes they're not there, or sometimes they've already PCS to a different place, and if you haven't been informed of a new PCM, and there's no rails on that, so you could end up booking yourself an appointment with somebody who's in Mountain Home, Idaho, instead of here at Sheppard. So we do recommend starting with that visit type if you're going to do that from online, but it is a really good resource. We're working on opening more and more appointments through that avenue, so keep an eye out. As far as emergency coverage, so if you have an emergency, dial 911 is always our recommendation, and then go to the nearest emergency room. Here there are two emergency rooms, the larger one being at United Regional, okay. And then there's also one at Cal West, which is farther out if you're around here by the stadium. If you're not able to wait till morning, but it's not life, limb, or eyesight, and you don't think you're gonna die, you can always call the nurse advice line. So they're an 800 number and then followed by 874-2273, so also that CARE ending. And they will give you advice, either to go to an urgent care, an ER, or to follow up in the morning. If you do want to go to urgent care, you can. AD needs referral, which you can get from the nurse advice line, like I just said. If you are active duty and need that referral, it can be accomplished through the now, but otherwise everybody is free to go to urgent cares. Other dependents don't require referrals anymore. I know a few years back that was required, but it's not anymore. And they can go to those. There is a list on our Facebook right now,
Okay.
and then also on the TRICARE website of locally approved ones. The only one that we know that is not approved and that they most of the time still do cover, but we can't guarantee it, would be the ER now, or really freestanding ERs in general are kind of a shady spot. So either go to an ER or go to an urgent care. We recommend avoiding freestanding ERs.
Okay.
And then if you have dental emergencies and you're an active duty person, you can call the command post at 6266, and they'll get them to the doc on call, but that's really the only on-call service we have available.
Okay, thank you for that.
Long.
Yeah. What about the pharmacy? Are there any procedures or tips that maybe people can use when it comes to, you know, getting those prescriptions to the right place at the right time and how the pickup works?
Yeah, absolutely. Our pharmacy is definitely a flashpoint in our medical group, and I think across the country as we serve not only our beneficiaries of active duty people, but our retiree community and any other beneficiaries in the area. So it's quite a group that we have to reach out to and get to. Of course, recently they had their cyber attack, and that was a big thing. We've never known how important all the systems that we use are until they fail us. So we have a couple great ways that people can do things now. So there's two different kind of things that prescriptions fall in. They're either new medications or they're refills, okay? So if you have a new medication that's written from your doctor, either seen by the MTF or outside of the MTF, there's a couple ways to get those filled. So all new prescriptions require activation. There's a few exceptions for ones that are done in the MTF. So if you see a doctor inside the MTF and you need an antibiotic or a short-term controlled pain medicine, so not Tylenol or Motrin, but things that are controlled substance, opiates, things like that to control pain immediately, those will automatically be activated, and then you can just go and pick them up. It usually takes 45 minutes to an hour to get those filled. And then for our post-op dental people, so they don't have to go home without their medicine. Yeah. But otherwise, all other new medications, either from an outside provider, which we now do electronic prescriptions, so that's really the only way we like to receive them now, if at all possible. And to activate, you can text. So there's a phone number, 833-429-4972. And you literally text "get in line," the words "get in line," to that number, and then it'll text you back asking for your DOD ID. You give them that, and then once that's done, it says, "Is this you?" And you say yes, go ahead and fill it, and then they will fill it for you. Or you can activate in person. You can always come and talk to us. There is quite a bit of a line sometimes, so we really do encourage people to use that text option, especially if you can wait a couple of days to get your prescription filled. And then if you sign up for our service, now it's kind of separate phone number thing, and it won't necessarily text you through this text message "get in line," because it's a different service. But if you ever do go to pick up or activate, you can ask the pharmacy to add your phone number, and you will get an automatic text when your prescriptions are filled. So really trying to automate some processes to let people know, and then if you haven't picked it up, it'll give you a reminder, which is even better, because after about 10 days we do restock medication so that we have enough pills to continue to hand out to people. So we do ask, as soon as you get those texts, please come and pick up your medicines. So then the other bucket we have are refills. Yeah. And so the number for a refill is always on your prescription bottle, but if for some reason it's gone, the number for that is going to be 940-676-5709, and you can pick those up either in person again or at our really cool new thing called the Script Center. So it's an Amazon locker looking thing that is in our front foyer, and it is available 24/7, so we don't lock those very front doors to the med group anymore. So on the weekends, after you're done with work, before you're going to work, you can just drop by. The first time you pick it up, it has to be you that picks it up, but then you can add people to pick up for you. So then after that, people can pick up, the other person can pick up for you if that's more convenient. And then, yeah, you can always come see us again. Is a great one. And now, just as of like a week ago, you can put in for refills on the Genesis patient portal.
Okay.
And so, new process, always a little, we'll see how it goes. But it has been working so far, so we're very excited about that. It was a feature that TRICARE Online had that then Genesis did not, but now it also has that, so we're excited.
That's great, and that 24/7 hour option, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we're very excited for it. It's been a very nice change.
That's great, that's great. So some of our listeners are probably getting ready to PCS. Maybe they'll be PCSing to Sheppard this summer, PCSing out of Sheppard, moving on to their next installation. What tips do you have for our families that are going to be PCSing here in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. PCSing is an exciting time, but it is full of lots of things to do.
Yes.
So many. And I'm going to tell you a lot of things right now. And I don't want you to be discouraged, but I do think, it's always a good idea to have stuff going in. So, recommend filling your prescriptions to be ready for that full 3 months as much as possible. If they'll fill for 90 days, we'll do a lot of prescriptions for 90 days. So especially if you tell them that you're going to be moving. Otherwise, just get refill for what you get a refill for a month or whatever it is. But make sure you have those and have them ready before, like the day before you're moving. Like recommend like a week or two, just in case anything comes up that gets in the way. Good news is everybody's on Genesis, right? We just went to this health record that everybody adopted that's a little bit more communicative than our old one, and so your prescription should already be at your new base when you get there. So if you're if you need a refill, not a new prescription, but a refill, then they should be able to do that basically as soon as you show up. You'll just have to go to the pharmacy. If you don't have the number for that pharmacy, they may not be able to transfer that prescription fully without you being in person. So we do recommend going in person. I recommend obtaining all of your outside medical records. So if you were seen off base at whatever base you're at, you can go by your TRICARE operations and patient administration, and they will fax to be able to get anything that's not already in your record. But I really recommend going to your doctor's office personally, asking for and picking up whatever records they have for you. You can then bring that copy by TOPA and have them upload them. Sorry, that's the TRICARE operations patient administration, TOPA. And they will upload them into your record as needed. But that way you have everything, and you can kind of keep it in posterity. I really do recommend that. Speaking of those outside things, we do refer off base a lot here. We don't have a lot of specialists, internists, anything like that. So this is where it gets kind of tricky and complicated. You can always try to have your PCM put a referral to your next base. To that area and put a note in there. Sometimes it'll go through and sometimes it won't. It usually works a little bit better if you're doing it within your TRICARE region. So right now we are east, and this is another fun little caveat. Coming in January of 2025, we'll become TRICARE West. And we will go to a new management partner. Instead of Humana, we will now be on TriWest. Okay. So keep an eye out for news related to that. I think hopefully it'll be a seamless transition. I know they're already working to make sure that it's going to be smooth, but with any change, always changes, right? There are things that are just different, and so I really do recommend that that you try to get those referrals ready. If not, if you can't get them ready for when you're getting there, especially if they're like not urgent or emergent, try as quickly as possible to get a referral with your PCM and just go ahead and get those put in so that you can be seen within that next month to 3 months, depending on the specialty, to get seen. If you are a part of the Exceptional Family Member Program, I know people feel lots of ways about that program, but I think it's an exceptional tool that we have to make sure people are able to get the care they need when they go where they need. Get that stuff done as soon as humanly possible, as soon as you know where you're going, and I would say even be more proactive than that. If you know there are any changes in your medical status, have an appointment with your PCM, get an updated 2792, which is just the medical log that your PCM fills out that goes to the FMP office, and have them upload that so that it's ready to go when you should get an assignment. If you're going overseas, you are going to require an appointment within 6 months, but otherwise, really just keeping up an annual pace of seeing your doctor and having them document how you're doing will make things much more smooth when the time comes for an assignment. Let's see what else. Oh, and then last but not least, when you get to your new base, just make sure you go either call TRICARE. All of them will have these like lovely little informational things at the TRICARE administration offices, but each of the regions has their own phone number, and then it's tricare-west.com or tricare-east.com. So not too complicated there, and their websites are sometimes more explanatory than anything you'll get on the phone. But just make sure that you update where you are. So you have to register with your new base and get an updated PCM. I would say there's like top 5 things on the day you like move into your house. Like go ahead and make that call. I know it's a little bit of a pain, but they're usually pretty quick. And they do this all the time. But if you don't get that registration, then the first time you go to the doctor, like you're gonna have to do it. They're gonna have to change your like PCM and all this stuff, or it stays undone for a long time, and then that can also kind of mess up the care you get and where information flows, not to the people that need it to help you with your medical care. So definitely recommend doing that kind of first thing.
Well, Major Ramsey, lots of wonderful information. Thank you so much for coming over today, sharing that. For our listeners, we know that there were some websites given out. She mentioned their social media page, a couple of phone numbers. Please check the comments below this video for all of that information so you don't have to frantically try to write it down as you're viewing this. But we thank you again for your time, and we hope you all have a wonderful time with your Air Force career, but no assistance is available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.